Having staff is awesome. Obviously it's a risk, but everything in life is a risk. Something that's happened to my business recently is that we've taken on 2 full-time staff members. I wanted to make a video about what it's like having employees, maybe some of the things that people don't think about. I know my business doesn't have 100 employees, but a lot of people never even make the jump from going from 0 to 1. Give a bit of insight as to what it's been like from my experience. Maybe it'll be helpful for you as you take on employees in your business moving forward. Why do you even take on an employee in the first place? The past few years, I've pretty much exclusively used subcontractors, and the reason why people do that is it's a lot easier. You don't need to pay their taxes. They can just come in, do the job and leave. You pay them a set fee. The only downside to working with subcontractors is the lack of consistency, I guess, and generally you're paying a premium because you're only getting them for once-off projects as opposed to if someone worked for you full-time. You take on employees, I think, for a couple of reasons. One, you want someone who's going to be working with you 5 days a week. You can really build a team around that, and you don't just need to have someone to come in for one specific skill. They can do a few things for you. The catch with it, obviously, is that you're paying them a full-time salary. When you're paying someone's salary, in Ireland anyway, there's more than just their salary. So say you're paying someone 40 grand a year. On top of that, you're going to have to pay PRSI. So the net cost to you as a business is probably closer to 45 grand. And those are taxes that you have to pay. As of January 1st, 2026, everyone gets enrolled into a government pension. So you're going to have to pay pension contributions for employees. If they want to set up a pension, you have to provide that facility for them. People get leave days when they're in employment. You get, in Ireland, there's 20 days a year that you get paid leave. You need an employee handbook in Ireland. So there's a lot of things associated with employment that a lot of people just don't want to have to deal with. But those are some things that you're going to need to do if you end up taking on a full-time staff member. If you're going to take someone on full-time, it helps if you have retained income, which are some form of recurring customer that's coming in, hopefully every month. That means that you have a bed of income coming in, even if you get no extra project. We at the moment have 6 different retainers. That helps cover a lot of the wage bill, even if we have no extra projects coming in. But if you have that consistency, it's easier to project. This is going to be my income and these are going to be my expenses every month. Your expenses are going to be broken down into stuff like your staff costs, rent, advertising, subcontractor costs, travel and subsistence. You obviously pay tax. You have a VAT bill every 2 months. I think this is a natural thing to do, but you will just find yourself thinking about the numbers of your business a lot more closely in terms of money coming in and money going out. Anyone who joins a business, it's a mutual thing. It has to work for the business owner and it also has to work for the employee. Both in terms of it makes financial sense, they're a good culture fit, they're doing a role that's actually beneficial to the business. It's okay to say to someone, something isn't working out. I've had to do that before, and I'm sure I'll have to do it again in the future. Obviously, ideally, it does work out, but you don't have to feel obliged to keep someone on if you feel like it's not working out. The main thing I try to do is to be transparent with people around, are they doing a good job or are they not? You know, what areas do they need to improve in? I think the issues come when if someone's not doing a good job, you're not telling them how to improve, you're not setting a goal for them or a place for them to hit from a performance perspective. Because if you don't do that, they've no target for them to shoot for. If they were on a rugby pitch, they've no goalposts to score a try or kick the ball over. You've basically removed the goalposts and say, kick the ball wherever. And as a result, they're going to kick the ball wherever they want it around the field. So it's important for you to set down, as the owner, to set down the yardsticks of what success looks like. And if they're not hitting that, to say it to them and to say it, you know, as soon and as candidly as you can. So that way you don't have anything building up. Any business owner I know who has staff, you're going to have to do some form of weekly team meeting and some form of one-to-ones on a monthly basis. We like to do a weekly team meeting, one-to-one with people every 2 weeks. Sometimes people do one-to-ones every month. A weekly team meeting is laying out what's happening in the business, what are the goals that we're shooting for, the priorities for that week. I know some businesses do daily huddles or huddles 3 times a week, which is where you check in for 5 minutes at the beginning of the day and say, what did you do yesterday? What are you doing today? And are there any blockers, anything preventing you from doing your work, and then you can share that with the team. It kind of aligns people, keeps them accountable. The weekly team meeting is getting an overview of the business and giving shared feedback, and your one-to-one is where you can give specific feedback to the individual and they can give it to you. If you take on a staff member, you're going to make decisions around how much you're going to work in person and how much you're going to work from home. For us at the moment, we do 4 days in the office, 1 day working from home. Sometimes there are weeks where we're on site with a client 2 or 3 days a week, so we might only be in the office 2 days a week. I personally think work from home is important for people. It gives people flexibility to do other things during the day. And I think since the pandemic, expectations have changed with work in terms of there's a lot of remote first companies that people only work from home. If you're going to be attracting candidates, probably something that's important to offer and to say that you're going to do at least not every day is going to be in the office. There are certain businesses where probably that's not possible, but in a video agency that definitely is. We do a lot of work on our laptop. Working conditions is something that you need to think of. Speaking of working conditions, I know the office is still kind of in bits. I really wanted us to have a HQ where we could all work out of. Before this, I was working in a co-working space in Harcourt Street, but it wasn't ours. We were renting desks. For the same price of me having desks for 3 or 4 people, plus paying parking in town. Here, for a bit more money, we have our own space. I could say probably 6 people, 7 people could work here if we needed to. Everyone has their own desk. And you can really make the space your own. We want to put a backdrop here at the back for client shoots. This is going to be an area where clients can sit down. I'm going to show you the LED light. So having a space for you guys to work together, I think is kind of important. If you're going to have a few staff, that there's the certainty of where they're going, you have a base, and it's a place that you guys can call your own. Last thing I'd say is, this is something personal to me. One of my core values is impact, and one of the ways that I measure impact is through driving economic growth and driving employment. I would ultimately like Fearless to employ many people, because it is one of the, I think, coolest things that you can do as a business owner is to provide a salary for people, a nice, safe place to work, that they enjoy working, and that they then use that money to go off and do whatever they want to do in their life, to travel, learn how to drive, get a house, support a family. I measure a lot of my usefulness as an individual in society as to how I can build my business to support others. Having staff is awesome. Obviously it's a risk, but everything in life is a risk, and you got to back yourself and really believe in yourself. It's important for people to take risks. That's why entrepreneurship is incredibly important in society. There needs to be people who start things for other people to follow. And if there's any words of encouragement, I would say is leadership has many different forms. I like to do it through the vehicle of business, but I think it's one of the best things that you can do as an individual in society. That's my rant over for this week. I have not opened this LED sign yet. Let's see what this looks like. Ta-da! Okay, let's see if we can plug this thing in. Oh, whoa! That is really cool. There we go, that's the LED sign. Okay, I'll see you guys next week. Peace.